It's been over 7 months since we set out on this deep dive into Eyes Wide Shut. More than any other film, it's the one that first sparked my fascination with cinema as a powerful storytelling medium. Ever since seeing it in theatres back in 1999, it's lingered in my mind, pulling me back for repeat viewings and endless attempts to decipher its meaning. This project is my contribution to the ongoing conversation around Kubrick's work. Rather than repeating what's already been said, I've focused on my own observations and interpretations, backed by plenty of research into the film's many layers. In the toy store scene, Helena casually mentions putting Sabrina in an antique Rosemary's baby carriage, prompting Alice to remark, "It's old-fashioned." That name choice may not be random. Sabrina carries a long history in mythology, literature, and film, from the tragic water nymph of English legend to John Milton's Comus, a masque about chastity, temptation, and rescue, to pop culture witches and classic cinema. Kubrick's inclusion of the name subtly ties Helena's moment to Eyes Wide Shut's web of references, mythic, supernatural, and cinematic, all of which echo the film's themes of seduction, danger, and hidden worlds. In the toy store, Helena says to her parents, "I can put Sabrina in here," as she gestures toward the antique-looking Rosemary's baby carriage, ostensibly referring to one of her dolls. Alice replies, "It's old-fashioned." Did Stanley Kubrick have a specific reason for using that name? And if so, what might Sabrina signify in this context? Sabrina is a water nymph from both English and Greek mythology. Her story connects to that of Helen of Troy, as Sabrina is said to be descended from Brutus of Troy and the Trojan War hero Aeneas, who was the son of Venus and cousin of Paris. In English legend, Sabrina was the daughter of King Locrine's mistress. Locrine acknowledged Sabrina and her mother, rejecting his wife Gwendolen. In retaliation, Gwendolen waged war against him, won the battle, and ordered that Sabrina and her mother be drowned in the River Severn, which lies along the Welsh-English border. The name Severn comes from the Old Welsh word Hepburn, which the Romans translated as Sabrina. In some versions of the story, Sabrina is rescued by river nymphs and becomes one herself. Nymphs, or naiads, are beautiful female spirits who preside over rivers, lakes, and other bodies of fresh water. Sabrina is also a key figure in a masque by English poet John Milton, entitled Comus, a masque presented at Ludlow Castle, 1634, which was described as a masque to honor chastity. Masques were an ancient form of live theatrical entertainment and pageantry, popular court celebrations that included singing, dancing, and mask-wearing, with the main roles often played by nobles and royals themselves. The etymology of the French word masque is directly linked to masque and masquerade, derived from the Italian mascara and the Latin masca, meaning witch or spectre, as well as the Arabic mascara, meaning buffoon. The thematic connections between the word masque, the concept of the masquerade, and Eyes Wide Shut are striking. Even mascara, makeup for the eyes, carries supernatural connotations, as in Halloween makeup, theatrical or clownish purposes, and sexual implications, serving as a disguise to attract, shock, or entertain. Comus is the Greek god of excess, festivity, indulgence, and nocturnal dalliances. The story of Comus follows a woman, referred to as the Lady, who is captured and taken to his pleasure palace, where he attempts to coerce her into sexual debauchery. He accosts her, tries to drug her, and casts spells on her through necromancy, reminiscent of Victor Ziegler and the overdosed Mandy in Eyes Wide Shut. The Lady, however, remains steadfast in her virtue until she is ultimately saved and freed by the nymph Sabrina. The masque concludes with an allusion to the tale of Cupid and Psyche, creating further connections between Eyes Wide Shut and other stories, with shared themes and symbolic parallels. The moment Helena mentions the name Sabrina, a woman passes behind her and glances over. She appears almost witch-like, wearing pointed black boots and a long dark fur overcoat with its hood up, similar to the cloaked attendees at the masked ball. The name Sabrina also calls to mind the teenage witch from the Archie comic book series by George Gladier and Dan DiCarlo, loosely linking the moment to the film's undercurrent of Wiccan and witchcraft-related imagery. Immediately prior to Eyes Wide Shut, Nicole Kidman starred in the fantasy comedy Practical Magic, 1998, playing the sister to Sandra Bullock's character, with both portraying modern-day witches. Coincidentally, Sandra Bullock shares the same birthday, July 26, as Stanley Kubrick, though in different years. Helena plays with the Rosemary's Baby carriage as the witch-like woman walks by, reinforcing Eyes Wide Shut's associations with the supernatural, fairy tales, and horror thriller cinema. Roman Polanski, director of Rosemary's Baby, made several other notable entries in psychological horror. Repulsion, 1965, stars Catherine Deneuve as a woman whose growing aversion to men and their sexual advances drives her to murder. The Tenant, 1976, stars Polanski himself as a man tormented by a cult-like group of neighbors. Polanski's wife, actress Sharon Tate, was murdered in 1969 by female cult members. She had starred in his 1967 film The Fearless Vampire Killers, the supernatural horror Eye of the Devil, 1966, as a witch, and Valley of the Dolls, 1967, a critically reviled melodrama about the misfortunes of three women in the entertainment industry. Polanski's first film after Tate's death was a graphically violent adaptation of William Shakespeare's Macbeth, 1971, which famously features the three witches. Sabrina is also the title character of the 1954 romantic comedy Sabrina, starring Audrey Hepburn, who would later attend the Rothschild Surrealist Ball, and directed by Billy Wilder, a filmmaker Stanley Kubrick admired. The film was remade in 1995, starring Harrison Ford, a name echoing Eyes Wide Shut's Bill Harford, and directed by Sidney Pollack, who portrayed Victor Ziegler in Eyes Wide Shut.